Why isn't it? The Velociraptor claw does not have a sharp edge like a knife. It only has a pointy edge like an eagle talon. That means it was more for grabbing and stabbing than it was for slashing like they've used in the movies. We'll talk about that and more fun Velociraptor claw facts while I sketch this little claw. So let's just turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on is it Friday morning already? Man, has this week flown by. Man. 5:30 in the morning on Friday mornings, I like to do a little thing where I pull a toy from the toy box, a random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier, if you will, and I sketch it and we talk about it. Now, we actually do this every day at 5:30 in the morning, so you may want to set your notification bell so you don't miss any of it. But today's random object is a Velociraptor claw. Now, they call it a claw, but it's really more of a talon. And the difference is that it's got this really sharp point, but it's got a really sharp point, but it does not have a sharp edge. And claws typically have a sharp edge so that they can cut. You can stab and you can cut. But talons, like eagle talons, just stab in and grip. And that's what this is like. They're not for slashing. They're only for poking and grabbing. There's evidence to support this argument because we have a fossil of a Velociraptor who died fighting a Protoceratops who also died, and they were fossilized together. And excuse me. And as they fossilized, the talon was stuck in the neck of the Protoceratops, much the same way eagles clutch their prey with their talons. And when an eagle clutches his prey, the more the prey struggles, the deeper the talon digs into the prey. So it's how they ensure that their prey doesn't get away. Good morning. Good morning, Ivy. What a pleasant surprise to see you up and about on a Friday morning, especially after you spent the day kayaking yesterday. I know you're had a rough day, an exciting and tiring day yesterday. Good morning, Rick and Pamela. Happy to see you guys today. I feel like it's been ages since we've spoken. It has, in fact, been what? It hasn't even been 12 hours.
No, they don't.
They don't what?
Ivy says they saw a juvenile bald eagle yesterday as well as an adult. They don't like
Bald eagle juveniles and adults. My mom and dad watch the Eagle Nest YouTube channel when they're not watching their own birds. They have a bird feeder in the backyard that shows off that shows the birds as they eat and fight over the food. That's what prompted them. The fun has been watching them deal with their squirrels.
That's real fun.
It's fun for me. I'm having a great time watching you deal with it. I'm having a ball because you guys are hilarious.
That's right. frustrating when they eat the bird.
Sure it is, yeah. Except for me, it's hilarious.
A lot of research.
Uh-huh.
You got that.
Yeah. Yeah, they write stories about how elderly people go from one day you're young and hip and
Listen, there's a lot of this bird watching.
oh yeah. Yeah, I know, boomers.
And it's an invasive bird, and you're supposed to notify some organization.
Yeah, did you notify them?
Not yet.
Now you've told the world that you didn't notify them. Now you're a criminal.
I know I'm a criminal.
How does it feel breaking the law? Breaking the law.
Yeah, that's the only law breaking to be a miracle. I decided I might have to change my ways and wear a ring.
Oh yeah? You picking fights?
Oh, you know, on a daily basis.
Uh-oh. I'm not going to come visit you in prison. I would be eye candy there. The prisoners would abuse me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm too pretty to go to prison. When they would walk, they would hold these things up off the ground, velociraptors. Like they have a tendon in them that makes them fold back like a switchblade, just like an eagle. When an eagle is hopping around, its little claw is up off the ground to keep the tip sharp. If they let the tip get dull, then it's not effective when they try to grab their prey. And so velociraptors also have that little tendon that causes their claw to stay like this until they slash it down. I have a hard time doing it with just one finger. I have to use all my fingers. So they would walk around keeping it off the ground to keep it sharp. When Peter Kyson found the first velociraptor back in 1923 in the Gobi Desert, he thought that claw went on the front hand, and so the first few assemblies they tried to put that claw on the front hand until they finally figured out it's the middle toe. And there was a big argument going back and forth because, you know, paleontologists, they pound the table. No, this is this structure. No, this is this structure. My God. And you know how they are. In my head, I've got these tables, this conference hall full of tables and nerds pounding the table like it's like British Parliament. The tables have to be a sword's length wide so that they can't just pull a sword out and stab their opponent. I don't think that's accurate at all, but it's a fun view for me to think of the paleontologists being that way. No, it's got to be this structure. You shut up, nerd. Anyway, it was they feel like it was finally settled when they found footprints, and the footprints showed the middle toe cocked back the way they expected it to be. So they feel like the argument, the science is settled. I don't think science is ever settled, so I don't think that's how science works. I think there's always going to be some new discovery. I don't know how many new discoveries there are left to have about velociraptors, but I hope there's lots of stuff to discover about them because there's not very many fossils. of velociraptors. Little 2-foot tall turkey-sized monsters that may or may not have been scavengers, may or may not have been pack animals. We have no evidence to support any of it. They probably could have been turkey-sized eagles, perfectly adept at. But wouldn't it be funny if they were eagles? If they were like, if they mated for life, if they had all the noble qualities that we attribute to eagles, and we villainized them in the movies because they sounded scary. Velociraptor, fast robber, fast thief. The Velociraptor, how scary is that? And look, he's got that huge claw. He had to be really scary. And the whole time they're just like family birds. They found a fossil with quill nubs. So they now have solid evidence that velociraptors had feathers. And I laugh when people say, "Well, that's not scary. That's yeah, you've never been chased by a goose." If you think a turkey-sized bird like that isn't scary, you've never been chased by a goose or a rooster. This is my favorite part. This is the part that brings the whole thing to life for me. This is the part that turns it from a line drawing to a dimensional drawing. Without this part, it's just lines on a page. This part makes it dimensional. Gives it shape and form. Picks it up off the page. Love this part. All right. Let me dry that real quick. A lot of paint in my brush that time. Doesn't usually pick up that much paint. I just discovered that when listening from the TV, we can hear Jonathan well, but not you or the music. But when we turn up the sound on my phone, I can hear you and the music. So it matters which speaker it is. I wonder why that is. I think the music is I think the music is broadcasting in stereo, but I think I'm monotone because I only have the one speaker, I only have the one microphone, and only the one voice. I should be coming through both sides of the speakers.
I think she's talking about me.
I know who she's talking about. She's talking about you. She's talking to you.
I know. It's like they changed rooms again.
Oh, okay.
And I'm all up and working.
But I wonder if it's because the bass is higher on the television, and so you don't. Then the music's more on the tenor side. So on the television, you're barely hearing the music at all, if you hear the music at all. But you're hearing more of me because of the baritone. But on your phone's picking up more of the tenor side, and you can hear my mom and the tenor side of the music better. I wonder. That would be an hypothesis. That would be one hypothesis that there's no real way to check, much like the lifestyle of velociraptors. Vermilion! I have a stray hair on my brush. It's messing up my flow. Look how much like a tongue. Doesn't that just look like a big tongue? It looks like a big tongue to me. There we go. Now, get a little yellow ochre and a touch of cobalt blue. I'm going to thin that way down. Maybe a little more ochre. Excuse me. I told you Peter Kaizen found the first Velociraptor fossil on the Gobi Desert in 1923. Henry Fairfield Osborn is the one that named them Velociraptor, and the name actually means swift thief. And he called them that because they looked like they were fast runners, and they were shaped. Their bone structure was a lot like the raptor birds. He didn't know they had feathers at the time. They didn't even. I'm not even sure in 1935 when they named them. I'm not even sure that they had decided that dinosaurs were birds yet, or the birds were dinosaurs, which is more accurate. I'm not even sure they had come to that conclusion at that time. But he did name them Velociraptor because they looked like the raptor birds. and they looked swift in 1935. But since then, access to the Gobi Desert by at least American paleontologists has been difficult because of relationships with the countries where the Gobi Desert lies. And the countries where the Gobi Desert is, China, Mongolia, the countries have very strict laws about exporting fossils now. They consider the fossils to be government property. And there's been some really big cases about repatriating fossils that have been stolen from the country. It's highly monitored, and the U.S. is very active in collecting those people and taking them back for trial. All right, let me dry that one more time, and then we'll ink it. We may have to do that one more time. I'm not satisfied. This part back here has more texture to it, and so it has a bit more of a brownish look than an orangish look. So I'm going to add a little cobalt blue to my vermilion, and I'm going to get that stray hair off my brush, and I'm going to darken this area just a little bit. This is a more porous surface, and so it accepted stain better. When you see fossils like this in the museum, you just have to remember that they're stained to look like this. They don't usually look like this coming out of the ground. I'm not going to say they never look like this coming out of the ground, but usually in the ground they're the same color as the surrounding stone. And the scientists have to stain it to give it to make it stand out from the surrounding stone. Usually. Let me dry it one more time. There we go. Now I can ink it.
You're going to have to redo your dance. You don't have an artist shirt on.
I am going to have to redo my dance. I thought about recording some TikTok dances. You see all these dances. I see all these dances. I made the mistake of watching one dance troupe go through the motions of the at the dances for like, do you remember the 21st of December? They have line dances and the like for songs like that. And I made the mistake of watching one all the way through, and it set the algorithm to say that, oh, he must like these kinds of videos, and so now I have tons of them, and they're all saved. And I thought how funny it would be if I just went outside, like you go to some of the restaurants that I visit, you'll find the waitresses standing off to the side when they're not serving the patrons. You'll find them standing off to the side with their phones stuck to something, and they're doing little dances that they put online, little TikTok dances. And I thought, how funny would it be if I did something like that and put those dances up? You wouldn't be able to hear the music, but if you had seen the videos, you would be able to tell what song it was. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that is, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me. Anyway, I thought that would be funny.
It's too early for that.
What is today? Today is the 5th. Well, we barely finished in time. Today is the 5th of... Is it June? Wow. That's almost my grandmother's birthday. It'll be next week will be Flag Day, and then shortly after that it'll be my grandmother's birthday, and then it'll be the 4th of July, and it'll be time for school to go back in. Ivy says the assumption, she says, Jess, just because I wanted to watch it once doesn't mean I actually like something. Maybe I was mildly curious, bored, or horrified. Maybe, Ivy, maybe when the video came on was the exact moment that I set my phone down so that I could stop something over here from spilling, or I was getting a drink, or kissing the wife, or who knows, whatever reason I put my phone down. But I put my phone down and allowed the video to play too long. But the assumption, she says, the assumption that I like what I watch is absurd. And I could say that, except now I've watched dozens of them because I am interested in them. So there's that. But okay, so here we are. Here is my version of it compared to the photograph. Let me show it to you from my perspective. It's a little bit different from my perspective. So there it is from my perspective. So that's what I did today. Tomorrow, what you said?
You can see your phone.
You didn't see my phone?
No, it was tilted down. There you go.
I think there's a lag. So tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, the suspense. The suspense. I know you guys are here for the suspense. There's a whole movie industry dedicated to exactly this kind of suspense. What could it be? What could it be? I like to keep you on the edge. I like to keep you waiting. Yeah. It's just fun for me. What do we have? We have, it's a bingo ball. And that bingo ball corresponds to an object that's too big for an egg. And the object that's too big for an egg today is, oh look everybody, it's a garden snail. Ooh-wee. It's a garden snail. Look how big he is. And you know what the funny thing is that's about life size. This is the snail they eat. This is the snail that the Romans carried around. This is the British. This is the garden snail from Mediterranean that is now on every continent except Antarctica, and almost every continent. Somebody decided to bring it for food, and it is highly invasive. It causes about $4 to $7 million of damage to California crops alone every year, because somebody brought them. But they're back during the gold rush. Somebody brought them into California to sell and start farming. The local people didn't really develop a taste for them, but the snails developed a taste for the California crops. So that is what we'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about that and more fun snail facts. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. I think I'm going to try and draw it exactly like that right there. We'll talk about that and more fun escargot facts tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you may want to set your notification bell for that. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do look forward to this every day. This is and yeah, it's excellent for a Saturday because I don't have to rush through it. I can take my time. Ivy's in the chat. She says, "Oh, it's excellent for a Saturday. It's perfect for a Saturday because I don't have to worry about going to work." We're still going to try and get it done in the 30-minute time period. But oh no, if it doesn't get done in the 30-minute time period, whatever shall I do? Whatever shall I do? So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. This is my favorite part of the day when I get to art with my besties. Pamela, Ivy, was Rick here?
Yes.
He wasn't very chatty today, was he? We missed him last night because he was woodworking, and he wasn't very chatty this morning. I hope he sends us a picture of what he was woodworking on last night. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to it every day when I get to art with my besties. It's my favorite time of day. It really is the highlight of my day. It holds me accountable to my art practice and is often the only art I get to do in a day. Ivy will be on later today, 11 to 4 Central Time. I think that's noon to 5 Eastern. So she'll be along later today. Guys, have a fantastic day, and be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because when they see me dancing, that means that the lag has caught up with the stream and I don't have to worry about being cut off mid-sentence. It means that you guys have a chance to say hello and goodbye. She says 1 to 5 Eastern, 1 to 5 Eastern. That means everybody gets a chance to say hello and goodbye to each other in the chat room, and give you a chance to click the clicky thingies this way if you're on the horizontal, or this way if you're on the vertical. But the most important thing is that I don't get cut off mid-sentence, because nobody